Welcome to Being Light. Welcome back, Sister Shivani.
Om Shanti, thank you.
Shanti. You have been speaking about the difference between the doing part and the being part. And I'd like to understand a little more about this being consciousness because my intentions, my desires, what I pay attention to whom I pay attention to, how I process it, is all a part of the worldview that I create for myself. And if I am doing consciousness, I create a different worldview. If I am being conscious, then I create a different worldview. Can we go a little deeper into this being consciousness?
When we say doing and being, it's again like body and the energy which is the master of this body.
Okay.
So I speak, I behave is the doing. What I think, I feel, my intentions, my memories, my perceptions, which means all that is invisible because the being is invisible. The doing is visible. The doing is outside. The being is inside. So that being, which like we saw last time, we call it spirit, energy, spirituality will say soul. It's just a language. But more than the language, is important to understand the concept. The truth, that who am I? And that's why we say when I understand who am I, only then I'm able to understand who are you, and only then I and you will connect. Otherwise, it's my position and your position, my role and your role, my age and your age, my relationship and your relationship, my status and your status, my knowledge and your knowledge. It is these who connect. I and you don't connect in a communication sometimes because we are connecting to each other based on what we have acquired in this lifetime. Because what I acquire in the lifetime becomes my identity. And once I identify myself with what I have acquired, I identify you with what you have acquired because I'm living in the doing consciousness. So, simple example, baby born, no name yet, not connected to family, so doesn't understand the concept of parents, sibling, nothing. It's the being, the energy, the soul, which enters the womb of the mother, and after a few months you have a baby. So what's the first thing that that being achieved or acquired is the body. Is the first thing that we acquire is the body. Then once I acquire the body, then I acquire a name. So this is my list of all that I acquire in a lifetime. It begins with my body, my parents, my name, and then I will be told I am belonging to this country, so that's my nationality. Then I know that I'm born in a family which follows a particular belief system or religion, so I also belong to that religion. That becomes my another identity. So let's all just rewind and see what all we acquired in this lifetime. The baby born, which means that energy. Now just look at that energy, the one who thinks, feels, enters the womb of the mother, acquires a body, baby born, gender. The first thing that I acquired was a gender. So I'm a male, I'm a female was the first thing I acquired. But this is the gender of my costume. This is the gender of the body that I acquired. But two people, one in the costume of a male, one in the costume of a female, the two souls, the two beings, they are not masculine and feminine. This whole thing that we have nowadays about women power and everything is not understood in the right way because we are talking about things that we acquired. But if we were to understand that I am a being, you're a being, but because we acquired two different genders, then the conditioning that society gave us, okay, boys are supposed to be like this, girls can do this is your role, that's okay. That's fine. Now, because of that conditioning, somewhere our sanskars started changing. So we went from the outside in. So I was told, I'm a girl, I'm a girl, I'm a girl. So a girl should be like this. Then I started creating some sanskars because society told me girl has to be like this. And you started creating some sanskars because you were told a boy is supposed to be like this. But those are the sanskars based on societal information. But suppose, let's say, a girl can cry, a boy cannot. Or a girl can be a very good cook, but a boy cannot. Or a girl is very caring, and a boy is more the nurturer or the provider of the family. And yet we have millions of examples around us where a boy could have more sanskars of caring. So where a father could have more the sanskar of caring, and the mother could have the more sanskar of a provider, because the sanskar is not based on the gender of the body. The sanskar is the sanskar of the being. So I, the being, got the body, gender of the body, then I got parents, then I got name, then I got my education, then I got friends, then I got a degree. So I became an engineer. So I said, I am an engineer. Now identity. Then I said, I am an Indian. Then I said, I am a Hindu. How many things we have said, I am? And then fill in the blank. You'll get a whole long list of I am and that fill in the blank. Then I got a position. Then that position changed every year or 2 years. Then I got relationships. So then I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a sister, I am this. All these were very important, but they were all that I acquired. But if I connect to you through that consciousness of what I have acquired, then you and me will always be different. You and me will always be different. So one is gender is different, position is different. So when you're sitting in an office now, how this will make a difference is that because I've got used to being in the consciousness of what I have acquired, so I'm in the consciousness of my role and position in an organization. And because I'm in that consciousness, then I also relate to you through that consciousness. So I may be your senior, or I may be junior to you. Either ways, that doesn't make a difference. But the energy that we will create and radiate to each other will be through our roles. And this is called ego. Ego means attachment to a wrong image of yourself. Because the true image of myself is that I am a being. And the wrong image of myself, not of my achievement, it's right, but of myself, my identity, is I am this position. And when a position talks to another position, then that ego is talking. But when I, the being, am talking to you, then I know that you and me are equal. And we've all experienced this. If we are in a team or we are out for a retreat, or, where you find someone is same as you automatically connect a little more. Let's say together we go for an international conference. Okay, so there are people from all nationalities, all religions, all castes. And then suddenly we know, oh, you're also from India. I'm also from India. There's that affinity that takes place that, oh, you're also from Hyderabad. I'm also from Hyderabad. This is where, because when we find a similarity, it's very easy to connect.
Okay, so what you're saying is at the organizational level, if we can connect at the level of being, then the artificial separations that we have created that increase the distance between us, they collapse.
Yes.
Then when I relate to you at that level of being, then we see quite a few things that are common, that we can relate with each other at that plane.
Right. Most important, your behavior will not have to be the behavior of a position.
Okay.
Your behavior will be your behavior, which means you will bring your innate personality out into the role. It's what we call a role consciousness or a soul consciousness. Let's say, for a simple example, you drive into an organization, and while you're just entering, at the gate there is somebody who's playing a role of taking the entry of your car, handing over the card that you're going to swipe. It's a role. How do we behave with him? Do we even talk? Do we even acknowledge that person's presence over there in that role? Or we just drive past because the role is not important enough for us. So, just reflect, because it was, who am I and who is he? Role. His role was not important enough for me even to smile. Leave alone saying a thank you or an acknowledgement or how are you feeling today. No, I didn't feel the need to invest into that role. Then I went in and I come at the, let's say, the reception of that building or the organization. There's somebody there, again a different role. So I was a little different there than what I was at the gate. My behavior changed because now I was a role talking to another role. Then I went on to the first floor and I met people who were my colleagues. My behavior was a little different there because there I was talking to another role. And then after an hour, I had a meeting with my senior most of that organization there. My behavior was different over there because I was a role talking to another role. So 4 times in an hour, I just change how I behave. Because for someone, I am above them. For someone, I am below them. I'm giving regard to the roles, but I'm not giving respect to the soul. Even when I'm going to the person who's the senior most, I will open the door for them, stand for them, give them the chair, which is all very good and very important protocol for the role. But inside, I may not even be respecting the person. I may not be. And what I'm feeling for you or the regard that I'm giving you is today for your role, and tomorrow when your role changes, then I'm different with you again. Because that thing was all based on what role you were playing. This becomes a very artificial life. This is not authentic. And this is so much of a variable that if I have to pause and ask myself, which one out of these 4 natures or personality was the true me? The one at the gate, the one at the reception, the one with my colleagues, or the one with my senior? Who was the original one? None of them. None of them, because each one was only behaving through a role. When I was at the gate, it was my role which did not allow me to. Like, why do I need to stop and talk to him? Or why am I supposed to smile at him or I say a good morning to him? But when I go there on the top floor, I'll be like extra. Because there I have to, or I need to. That's not authentic life. Now just go back to all 4, soul talking to another soul. Now I don't need to get up and open the gate for that brother who's at the door, at the security gate. He's opening the gate for me because we're playing 2 different roles. I'm going to drive, but what I feel for him, how I smile to him, how I say my thank yous and my good mornings is going to be exactly the same at the guard, at security, and on the top floor. That's not going to change.
So when we start bringing this being consciousness into the tasks that we do as a part of our roles, what you're saying is respect becomes innate.
Authentic also, because I respect you, regard for your position and role, but I respect you, whether you're in this role, not in this role. Tomorrow you may be in a completely different role. You know why? If you see in society, people hold on to their roles even after they've lost the role or they've retired or resigned or everything. They'll hold on to that card, they'll hold on with an X there. Why this deep belief system and attachment to the role? Because what they were getting from society was for that role. Correct. And the insecurity that what will I get from people when I lose this role or when it's over, my role is over, that one. Because we're connecting on a role-to-role consciousness. So everyone's very attached to their role because people respect me for my role, not people respect me for who I am. So it's not only just about the person receiving the respect, it's also for the person who's giving the respect. So you are a soul talking to another soul. We are equal. So neither I need to, just ignore somebody. Neither do I need to get intimidated by somebody. I should just be myself.
So if I switch the roles for the conversation's sake, if I were that security guard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I am in my being consciousness, how would my response change?
Change to the person who's driving in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyone. Even if somebody smiles
Hmm.
and somebody doesn't smile.
Yeah.
Because they are in their role consciousness.
Right.
But I am in my being consciousness.
So the person at the security guard, if he or she is in their soul consciousness, a soul consciousness person doesn't need anything from people. They only give. Because they also remember, I'm a soul and my original nature is love, original nature is power, original nature is wisdom, original nature is bliss, happiness. I don't need that from anybody. That's who I am. So that's the original nature. So they will be in that consciousness, that person, that I'm a soul playing this role. So even if I, who am driving in, am in my, I am so and so, this person at the gate is not going to feel that, oh, I am inferior to this person.
Exactly.
I can keep feeling my superiority.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. That's
Correct.
my role consciousness. But the person at the gate is not going to feel inferior to me because they are not connecting to my role.
Because they are in their self-respect.
Yes.
And they have their own self-esteem.
And that soul consciousness person will radiate that vibrations of the soul consciousness to me and will create a shift in me gradually. Connect with someone through your ego and you will bring out the ego in them.
Correct.
And connect to someone through your innate purity and you will bring out the innate purity in them. Simple example is, look at a baby. Even while we go to the market, not even a baby at home or a kid at home, a baby in the market, in their mother's arm, receives so much of love and attention from everyone, strangers around them. Why? Because the baby is not attached to any position, name, relationship, role. A baby is the closest to what we can say soul consciousness, because not yet attached to all their. So, baby soul consciousness is radiating purity, and that purity is very attractive. And that baby pulls people attention towards themselves because they radiate egoless vibrations. They radiate purity. Look at a baby at home. You come back home very tired, very stressed, fatigued, and just go and sit with a child. In baby, not even a child now. You can't say 3 years old, 4 years old, but a baby who's very, and your behavior will start changing. You will start laughing and talking and you will say, oh, 10 minutes back I was a different person. And how come I've changed just sitting next to this baby? Because that baby is egoless and that baby is bringing out the innate which is in you.
Yes.
But if that baby, once that baby grows up, and that baby starts getting attached to a lot of I am so and so and I am so and so and I'm so and so.
That innocence is lost.
So that innocence, when it's lost, then they will not be able to bring out your innate purity and laughter and innocence in you. So one person being soul consciousness brings out the soul consciousness in another person.
Very interesting. If I connect this back to what we were discussing about acceptance and respect, so what you're saying is, when I am in the state of being consciousness, I start looking at myself as a bag of virtues and powers,
right,
and not as a bunch of weaknesses. When I start accepting and agreeing with this way of looking at myself, or with this aspect of myself, then that is what automatically I start doing with the other person.
Absolutely.
Then from that position of being consciousness, from that perspective of respect, accepting what the other person says becomes more effortless. I don't have to put in any effort.
Natural.
Because I accept the position from where they are coming from. They might not know that they are a soul or they are a being. But if I know that, and if I start practicing, then that will radiate and start transforming. Like, for example, we were discussing about that Maharashtra floods, and we're talking about the qualities of a leader. So here you're saying the fundamental quality of a leader, if he or she wants to bring out any positive transformation, that's when we call those people as leaders, because they have the capability to change things, to change the status quo, make it more positive. Is for the leaders to recognize their own innate goodness that's already there,
Yes.
strip off these acquired identities, and start being in that state of consciousness, which is a position of power, positive power, not the coercive one. And from that perspective, from that seat of being consciousness, when I get into my interactions, they start becoming more and more positive.
Yes.
Then what we started off having conversation with about the stress, about the negativity, will not find any other place because they have become irrelevant.
Because you're creating an egoless environment, which is the biggest barrier, whether for the self or whether in a relationship or in an interaction, is the ego. But what is ego? It's when we are through our roles and position consciousness. But if one, like let's say you're that leader and you are talking to me, but you're talking to me as a being talking to another being, you allow me also to be comfortable.
Yes.
Because you don't look at me like this, I don't look at you like that. So we connect like this. Now this is where energies will start harmonizing. This is where acceptance and respect, not respect for the role, respect for each other. This is where understanding. This is where understanding that yes, sanskars are different, but originally both you and me are same. We have the same strengths, same qualities. My whole dynamics of looking at you will change. Everything will change. So then the power to exchange that vibrations, the power to influence, and then the power to create a change, that transformation will become natural because you, the leader, removed your filter of ego. So we need only one out of the two to remove that filter of ego. You become instrumental in me also removing that filter of ego. So you, the leader, are like that baby. And because you're going to be like that baby, baby means just being yourself. So a baby will be the same with that security guard at the gate. The baby smiles the same way to all. The baby's smile doesn't change according to which floor the baby went on, because the baby is not connecting to the role. The baby is just being themselves. Just being themselves. So that's why we say be you, be original, be authentic, just be yourself. So when you are that baby, baby means innocence, your true self, very, very soon you're going to have me the same way.
So when you say be yourself, be authentic, you don't mean saying all these years I was conditioned to be arrogant, so I will be arrogant because that is my authentic nature, so I am arrogant. Here I am, accept myself. You don't mean that.
Arrogant, see, when we hear the word arrogant, we think arrogant is someone who behaves like, Arrogant could also be someone who's very inferior, very low, lack of confidence.
And who wants to assert.
Yeah, not comfortable, because ego does not mean feeling superior. Ego just means superior or inferior. Either ways is ego, because I'm not myself. So that guard at that security gate could be very egoistic because they're feeling very inferior to you. Very inferior. Now we would think, oh, the person who's crossing in the car is the one who's egoistic. No. The person there at that gate could be very egoistic. Egoistic means no self-faith, no self-confidence, feeling very low compared to the person driving in, because they're connecting to the role. And yet there could be somebody at the gate and be very, very, very self-confident and in that space of self-respect because they know who they are. It's like a movie. Two actors in a movie. Their roles could be different. So one is playing the role of standing at that gate, and the other is playing the role of driving through. But the one standing at the gate knows that this is only my role. I, the actor, am probably the higher paid actor in that movie.
Yeah.
No, it can be, right?
Yes.
But my role is this.
Yes.
So that actor is going to play the role, but the self-respect, the self-esteem, the self-confidence is untouched.
Very interesting.
Because they know the self.
Any journey of transformation, positive transformation, is not complete until you realize your own innate goodness and move into that being consciousness while you are busy doing what you're doing on a day-to-day basis at home or at work. And when we start practicing this being consciousness, what we see as listening, giving and respecting, accepting, these become glimpses, window into your own soul, into your own being. And when I start practicing those more often, they start becoming more and more natural. So this subtle shift or a fundamental profound shift from role consciousness to soul consciousness, from doing consciousness to being consciousness, needs to be developed. We need to invest time and practice it so that we can create the kind of organizations which allow each one of us not only to be ourselves, but also allow the others to be themselves, so that together we can thrive.
Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah. And that's why this title that we've chosen for this series, Being Light.
Being Light.
It's very easy to understand. Light means that spirit. It's light. This is matter. This is the light, the consciousness. And that light, when I'm in that consciousness of being light, then I'm light.
Yeah. So that becomes the double light.
So it's double light. So when you're aware that you are a light talking to another light, then being light will be a natural way. But when I'm a role talking to another role, then all the complexities with how I should be, you should be, all that makes us very heavy. So soul consciousness means being light, and then automatically that allows you to be light throughout the day.
Very good. Thank you.
Om
Thank
Shanti.
you very much, Sister Shivani.
Thank you.